Right, we're back in play, folks. If you have just joined us, we do apologise. We've been suffering some technical difficulties over the last few laps, and we appear to be under a safety car for whatever reason. So if someone can inform me on that, that would be very much appreciated. But either way, Ramsell is leading ahead of Arjun, who's in second place. Just looking to see who is responsible for the damage. Just looking to see who's got damage to their car to help give me a clue. Well, all 18 drivers still running, including those who have lost connection. Romelio's coming into the pits for Campos. Lesson's going in too quickly there. And he's retiring from the race. And Fred Shotton is going to have to wait behind his teammate at the moment. Malky rejoins behind... Sorry, Mielios rejoins behind Malky for a moment. Swanshanks is a lap down on the rest of the field at the moment in 17th. Jay Hartnell likewise. So Ramsell leads with Argent second. Then it's Rosie, Green Pies, Winfield, Wild Dog, Terades, Dust, Will and Vintage. That's your top 10. Now with Ramsell on course to take the victory here. Adding to the 8th place finish he got, he would have got 12 points for that. Along with the pole position points, which is 16. He's on course to add another 30 from this race. That makes it 46, so he'd be moving on to 214. He'd leapfrog Swanshanks. I think it may leapfrog Vintage as well, but Ramsell is going into the pits for a change of tyres. And just seeing the clouds shadowing over the racetrack, I wonder if rain may be on the way. It shouldn't be so. But Ramsell risking the victory and coming in for a change of tyres. He's going to leave himself with, I think, too much work to do. There'll be 4 laps remaining once the safety car does go in at the end of this lap. I think wet tyres are going on Ramsell's car. Now that's interesting. I think the rain is coming down. We'll look to see on an onboard to see if that's the case. We can't see any raindrops at the moment. So Arjun is your new race leader, but will it remain that way by the time the checkered flag falls? Yep, the rain is starting to come down now, so the track is most certainly going to become greasy in the next few laps. So Ramsell's gamble to go onto the wet tyres may pay off later. Now, in terms of the times these cars do on like a minute and a half, you know, in 5 minutes time the track is going to potentially become soaking wet, of which these slicks are not going to handle. The safety car is remaining out there though. Or is it? The yellow lights are still on. I think it's staying out for another lap. And so Arjun's coming into the pits, is he? No, he's not. Winfield is, though. The scene driver sort of dummying. I think those at the back of the field don't have anything to lose, so they may as well make the switch. Melgi goes in too quickly. So that's a 5-second penalty to him. So Ramsel is now in 9th place. And I think Arjun's going to struggle here now, to be honest with you. I really, really do. Because by the time the safety car goes in, the track is going to be far too wet for those dry tyres to handle. He runs wide. I think Rosie and Green Pies are going to be screaming in their ears at the moment. So we're on lap 10 out of 13. 3 laps to go at the end of this lap. You can see Arjun struggling at the moment. I think he knows where he's going at the end of this lap, and that's straight into the pit lane. There's no intermediate tyre in F2. It's either the slicks or the full wets. So the safety car coming in at the end of this lap. So what is Arjun going to decide to do here? I don't think he's really got a choice, has he? He's desperate for that safety car to pull in as soon as he can, but not by the way, sliding across the racetrack. Don't want to be doing that now, mate. Yep, the safety car is going into the pit lane, but will Arjun do the same? No, he decides to stay out. He's risking it. But Milios has crashed out. He's slid into the barrier and he's out of the race. That's what happens when you stay on slicks. Arjun under threat now from Rosie. You can see the top 7 are all on slicks. They're going to suffer horribly in these remaining laps unless they do come in for wets. Green Pies gets ahead of Arjun and Rosie. Where's Ramsel? Because he's the highest of those on the full wets. There he is, look. He's going through turn 4 now. He's making his way through back markers. And someone's off. It's Arjun. So the race leader is off the racetrack. Ramsel in 4th place now. He's got the top 3 standing in his way. And Ramsel has been penalised for ignoring yellow flags, so there's a twist to the tail. I don't think Ramsel was too bothered about that, though. He wants to just get on with it by passing these guys. Looks like Malky's off the track there. Oh, his contact made! Green Pie shot in the door far too late there. He knew Ramsel was already alongside and nearly shoved him off the road. And Jay Hartnell out of the race as well. And there's Rosie going way off track there. And she's going to go straight into the scene of the accident. And that is her race over. Rosie out of the sprint race. So 2 drivers gone on the restart. Green Pie's struggling at the moment. No way he's going to hold off Wild Dog, who's on the full wets. So Wild Dog is through. Terade and Podge are also going to suffer. Well, they're on slicks anyway, those guys. And, yeah, they need to come into the pits, most certainly. But Green Pies has decided to stay out. It's just been overtaken by Dust as well. Now, there's an incident in Sector 1. Not sure what that is all about. Terade's into the pits for tyres now, so he's giving up the fight. And someone has gone for a spin. It's Vintage. So your race order then. Ramsel leads, Winfield second, Wild Dog third, but all 3 of them have got time penalties. Arjun into the pits and getting a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So Dust has got an opportunity to win this one, but he needs to be within 3 seconds of Winfield and Wild Dog and 5 seconds within Ramsel in order to win this race. And Green Pies has just been overtaken now by Will, who's on wet. So Green Pies is most certainly going to struggle on this lap and most certainly the next one unless he does come in for the full wets. So Ramsdell looking very good for the victory. Well, I say that. Winfield is within 2 seconds of him. So if Ramsdell's going to win this race, he needs to pull out a 2-second margin on Winfield and Wild Dog in order to do so. But he's not quite doing that at the moment. So Ramsdell's got to go like clockwork now for the last lap of the race. Now where's Fragile Tunnel? There he is, look. He's behind Green Pies. He'll most certainly get ahead of him. Green Pies fighting for all his worth to stay in front, but Fragile Tunnel's just going to have the upper hand and go through. So we're on to the final lap then. Green Pies just needs to take it easy there. It's getting more and more tricky in these conditions. Oh, he's losing it there. And very well done for catching it. That is supreme driving there from Green Pies, it has to be said. He's in 7th place at the moment, so he's still on course for a fair good number of points. So as it stands, Winfield will be taking the picture. I've just seen Wild Dog being penalised again, so he's going to fall off the podium. Fall behind Dust and possibly behind Will as well. So even in these conditions, Green Pies just looks almost supreme on slicks when you watch him. There you go, look, drifts his way round turn 5. What could go wrong? And there's Malky closing in up behind. We'll go back to the leaders here because Ramsdell is not going to take the victory as it stands unless Winfield makes a mistake or gets a time penalty to add to what he's already got. So Ramsdell on full wets. He's going around the last corner and take the checkered flag, but it's going to be Winfield taking victory in this sprint race. So Winfield wins the sprint race. He reports him out. He takes the victory. Ramsdell will be second. Doss will go to the podium in 3rd place. Wild Dog should keep hold of 4th position. Will is 5th. Fragile Tunnel will be 6th. Malky's just got by Green Pies, but he's got an 11-second time penalty, whereas Green Pies does not have a penalty at all. So Malky's going to fall out of the... he's going to lose that position most certainly. So Green Pies will be 7th. Malky will be 8th. So Raids will be falling behind Podge and Cookie. So Podge will be 10th, Cookie 11th. No, Podge will be 9th, sorry. Cookie will be 10th. So Raids will be 11th. And there's Don Argent. And he's almost sort of drifting his way around turn 14 there. On course for 12th place. I mean, I'm still giving some points. But the gap at the top will have come down slightly. But he's still got a handsome lead going into the final 3 rounds. Here's Argent over the line then in 12th position. Vintage the last on the lead lap in 13th. Swanshanks is 14th. So it's Winfield who wins here in Portugal. He wins the sprint race here today. And from 6th on the grid as well. Good going. So we go, the drivers celebrating for the last time tonight. And we're looking forward to the next round, which I believe is expected to be at Imola now that the circuit has been released. So your final race result sees Winfield as the race winner, Ramsdell 2nd, ahead of Dust in 3rd, Wild Dog 4th, Will 5th, ahead of Fragile Tunnel in 6th, Green Pie 7th, Malky 8th, Podge 9th and Cookie 10th. Trades was 11th, followed by Argent and disappointing 12th, Vintage 13th, Swanshanks in 14th place in a lap down. Rosie crashed out, as did Melios, Redstone Derp and Jay Hartnell also retired. So in terms of the championship, Green Pies continues to close in but the gap that Arjun has is more than a full round over the others. So the championship standings will be updated within the next few days before we do go racing again. So the next round of the championship will be at Paul Ricard next week, and then round 11 will be at Imola on the 27th of October. So it's Paul Ricard next week, so we'll see you again, same time next week. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.